The Rangers are among the US Army's most famous formations with unique characteristics that set them apart from other American Special Operations Forces, namely the mass of an infantry unit. The overall purpose of the regiment is to provide a rapid reaction airborne infantry force anywhere in the world, with more precision and discrimination than a conventional light infantry unit. Cold War doctrine characterized it as conventional techniques combined with special skills. They're suited for direct action, which essentially means limited offensive actions in politically sensitive or hostile environments. Each Ranger battalion has basically 9 rifle platoons, plus support and more specialized teams, and a single Ranger platoon can be independently deployed to work under JSOC, sometimes in a different country from the rest of their battalion. One extreme explained to me by a Ranger was when his platoon was deployed to Syria, the rest of his company was in Afghanistan. The current gen Rangers have always been similar to conventional infantry. The rifle squad includes a squad leader ranking staff sergeant, an alpha team, and a bravo team. The fire teams each consist of 4 soldiers on paper, although in practice they're often under strength. The Rangers have additional manpower limitations since their members have to go through Ranger Selection, Airborne School, and Ranger School. Rangers can also be released for standards once at the regiment for almost any reason, such as not meeting physical standards, lack of motivation, committing a crime, failing Ranger School, or just being a bad person, so operating 2-man teams is something that happens. But in theory, each team has a team leader, automatic rifleman, grenadier, and rifleman. Team leaders are ideally sergeants, and both the team leader and the automatic rifleman in their doctrinal capacity as assistant team leader need Ranger tabs. The distinction between the scroll and the tab is those who pass the Ranger Assessment and Selection Program, or RASP, earn their beret and scroll, and become members of the 75th Ranger Regiment. Ranger School, on the other hand, is a leadership school and suckfest with a basis in infantry skills. Anyone can go to Ranger School to earn their Ranger tab and become Ranger qualified, and in fact, it's de facto necessary for all active duty infantry officers provided they want a career. But while it's completely separate from the Ranger Regiment, junior enlisted Rangers who haven't yet passed Ranger School are considered privates regardless of rank, even if they're a specialist, and if they don't go within a certain time frame, they get kicked out of the regiment. So all leadership, particularly in combat roles, have Ranger tabs, even though it isn't training specific to the 75th Rangers. As far as weapons, most are armed with M4A1 carbines equipped with the Upper Receiver Group Improved, or URGI. It includes new cold-forged barrels in 14.5 and 11.5 inch and an M-LOK handguard interface to replace the RIS-2 quad rail. I've been told that fire team leaders are priority for the shorties because they're normally at the head of a formation, would be the first to take contact, and would lead the squad through breaches and into field works. But squad leaders and officers can lay down dibs to get one as well, although the sentiment expressed to me is they don't need one. If for some reason a Ranger is carrying a second weapon, like a DMR and a rifle, they'd probably take a shorty. Carl Gustav gunners are theoretically meant to get one, but because they're usually pretty junior members of the platoon, they're often stuck with the longer carbine. Medics and forward observers are also likely to get one, but there's a limited supply per company, between 30 and 40, out of over 120 people, including 18 fire team leaders. Rifles are usually paired with surefire suppressors, which in addition to audible benefits, suppress the muzzle flash, particularly handy during night operations. A variety of optics are in use. Common ones that have been spotted in 2023 include the EOTech EXPS 3-0, the Vortex Razor 1 to 6 times low power variable optic, and the Aimpoint Micro T2. The 7.62 SCAR H, designated Mark 17 in SOCOM service, is also in use, although it's less prevalent than the M4A1. I've been told it's usually used as an impromptu designated marksman rifle by squad and team leaders, but most fall back on their familiarity with the AR platform. Word on the street is the Rangers don't really like the new M110A1 SDMRs that much, and normally stick with the Mark 17 as a DMR. Grenadiers also carry the M320 40mm grenade launcher in the standalone configuration, which enables it to be holstered when not in use. The automatic rifleman uses the M249 LMG. The Rangers did at one point use the Mark 46, which was the SOCOM-specific upgrade of the M249 adopted in the early 2000s, but the M249 was upgraded by the regular army and the Rangers went back to it. The Mark 48, which is the 7.62 version of the Mini-Me, can also be used by the automatic rifleman, although I'll talk more about it once I get to the weapons squad. The Knights Armament Company LAMG is also now in the Ranger inventory for evaluation. Its selling point is lighter weight when compared to the M249, and controllability achieved via a constant recoil system. I've been told in 3rd Battalion at least, the LAMG hasn't replaced the M249 and is currently serving alongside it. All Rangers in the squad also have the option of carrying a sidearm. Because the Rangers are an organization of both the US Army and SOCOM, they receive both the Army's standard pistol, now the M17 but formerly the M9 Beretta, and SOCOM's, the Mark 27, a version of the Glock 19. Back in the Beretta days, those basically stayed in armory, and the Glock is what was used. But I'm told now with the M17 coming in, some guys are transferring to them, but a lot are sticking with the Glock 2. But in practice, despite being an issued item, they're normally only taken out on missions by belt-fed gunners. Unlike the regular army, this includes M249 gunners. In normal rifle platoons, normally only M240 gunners take them. Depending on the unit, there can be an anti-pistol culture, mainly because of the high risk of them being lost out in the field. Privates especially would probably not carry a pistol. In addition to the personal weapons, the new thermobaric, heat, and HE dual-purpose variants of the M72 light anti-tank weapon are in service with the Rangers. Unlike in the big army where AT-4s are common, the lighter M72 is more prolific in the Rangers. I've been told by late 2010s Rangers that they never actually saw an AT-4 in the regiment. Although a more recent serving vet told me that the AT-4s are used sometimes, but less favored due to their bulk, a less sensitive fuse leading to a higher dud rate, and worse effects against personnel and buildings due to the lack of a thermobaric version. Although this is probably influenced by the lack of an armor threat in most Ranger missions, and if they were conducting a raid against a peer enemy, they'd probably take out AT-4s and javelins for the better anti-armor capability. But the M72 love leads to such decadent images as this Ranger with an aiming laser on their M72 for aiming under night vision. Who should carry the M72s is most likely preference, since the newest guys will be carrying stuff like the A-den litter and equipment for detaining individuals during raids, and the team leaders are primary breachers with a hoolie tool, bolt cutters, and a pistol grip Remington 870 with a 3-round tube magazine. One veteran from 3rd Battalion told me in his case, the squad leader carried the laws. Each platoon has 3 rifle squads and a weapons squad. Weapons includes a squad leader, the platoon's senior staff sergeant, and 3 gun teams as the base. In practice, a Carl Gustav recoilless rifle team is also incorporated. At one point, the Carl Gustav, or Goose, was administratively held as a section at the company level, but it has since been made an organic part of each weapons squad. A support by fire will normally initiate with a shot from the Goose followed by a mad minute with the guns. The anti-tank team leader is normally a sergeant and would be an assistant to the weapons squad leader. The gun teams typically consist of 2 men. A gun team leader, who I'm told is normally a tabbed corporal, although I'm guessing that may vary between companies, and a gunner who's junior. The primary system is the M240 Lima, particularly in cases where a tripod is needed for sustained and long-range fire. But if mobility is more important, or a gun team needs to go down to 1 man, the more portable Mark 48 can be employed as well. If the gun team still has 2 members, the private acts as ammo bearer in that case. One case of a 1-man Mark 48 team would be when strikers are employed, which eats up gun team personnel to man the vehicles. Other heavy weapons, such as the Mark 47 automatic grenade launcher, are also available in the arms room, but employed by the weapons squads or mounted on the ground mobility vehicles. Above the squads, the platoon HQ includes the platoon leader, platoon sergeant, 2 attached medics, at least 1 radio operator for the PL, and possibly a second for the platoon sergeant if they can spare. Unlike in the regular infantry, second lieutenants are ineligible to join the regiment, so the PL will either be a first lieutenant or even a captain. Ideally, a sergeant and private will be attached from the company fire support team to act as forward observers. The sergeant is JTAC qualified. Although not part of the platoon itself, battalion-level assets such as sniper observation teams, dogs, and mortars will be aligned to each platoon and attached for deployment. In terms of motorization, strikers are available to transport the Rangers under armor. The exact numbers are uncertain, but it's likely battalions have enough strikers to move a company of infantry at once in multiple 4-truck ground assault force packages. These are manned by each rifle company's weapons squad, with the privates acting as drivers and the gun team leaders acting as vehicle commanders. Lighter Polaris M Razors, as used by Marine Reconnaissance and SOCOM, and in-between Ground Mobility Vehicle 1.1s are also available for motorized transport and fighting in the latter's case. This is a remastered segment from a longer video about the 8-decade history of the Ranger Squad. More details on the Ranger Battalion, their role, and logistics. If you want a lot more info on the Rangers, check that out. I'll see you over there.